Sigma's just created the fastest aperture full-frame zoom lens in the market. But is it the right lens for the target user that they're going after? Let's talk about that right now. Now, big thanks to Sigma Singapore for providing the lens for review. With that said, I don't keep the lens. It goes right back to them. These are my thoughts and my thoughts only. Now, Sigma is taking this 2845 f1.8 lens, and it's a 1.8 straight across, mind you. It's not a 1.8 f2, f2.8, as we call that a variable aperture. It is a 1.8 at its maximum aperture from 28 millimeters to 45 millimeters. We have not seen that before in full frame as of June 2024. From my memory, correct me if I'm wrong, the previous fastest aperture full-frame zoom lens was the Canon 20-70 f2 RF mount, which is a phenomenal lens. No matter what focal length you're at with that lens, it feels like you're shooting on a prime, especially for photographers. But for video, I think it's a little bit too big. That's a monstrous lens, but optically fantastic. So Sigma is taking a crack at this. And you could say that they made somewhat of a smaller lens than the 28-70 f2, coming in at 28-45 respectfully, and at 1.8, but it's not a small lens. The weight of this comes around 950, 960 grams respectively, depending on the mount that you're using, E mount or L mount currently that it's designed for. The height of this lens is 151.4 millimeters. It's a taller lens. Now, to put things in perspective here, this is the newest Sigma 2470 f2, and that's the 2845 next to it. So you can see that there is definitely a height difference on that. When I zoom out to 70, they're almost the same height, but this is significantly lighter. And this one is all internal zoom, which I appreciate. But if you're a videographer, this is my question I'm having right now. You're one of these shooters that you're constantly on the go, you're capturing events, weddings, moments, you want to run and gun, you got your gimbal, maybe you don't want to use a gimbal sometimes, you want to use really good stabilization. Is this lens gonna be too big for you? Because I'm thinking about this, you put this on a camera body, you put this on a gimbal, that's a lot of weight to carry around. Because Sigma was taking the 1835 f1.8 APS-C lens, which was hugely popular for videographers out there. And they said, why don't we make the full frame equivalent since people were adapting that lens for full frame? I mean, I applaud them for doing that. Are people gonna wanna pick this lens up or carry this around all day for video work? I don't know. And that's the question I have with this video. And obviously this is a first impressions. It's a pre-production lens. I can't give a full review on it. I get what Sigma's doing, but does it make sense? Especially now that we're seeing this trend to a much more smaller, compact systems. It's kind of, we go in waves. Sometimes we go small, compact, then it goes a little bit larger. Now we're going back to smaller, compact systems again. So I don't know. But let's talk about some of the features on this. You can click the aperture. You can lock the aperture in place. It is an internal zoom lens with a very quick zoom throw on that. That's very fast, 2845. It's like nothing. You got your function buttons around here. You've got your autofocus, manual focus switch. It's pretty much like every other new art lens on the market, okay? It is designed beautifully. Look at this. I was talking about the design on the 2470 and a lot of these newer art lenses from Sigma. This is right up there with it. I think it's a gorgeous looking lens and it's well made. Sigma makes some fantastic lenses. So when it comes to build quality, design, you can't fault Sigma. The optics out of this, you got 3 spherical elements, 5 SLD elements inside of this. You got 11 rounded aperture blades, which is 2 aperture blades above what the 1835 was at 9 rounded aperture blades. Your minimal focusing distance, no matter if you're at 28 or at 45, is 30 centimeters, which is amazing that it actually stays the same minimal focusing distance no matter where you're at. That's actually quite cool. You're getting better optics out of this. It's a 1.8 at its fastest aperture up to f16. I'm shooting at 1.8 right now, right here on this, to give you an idea of how it looks for video. The performance of this lens is good, right? The optical quality out of this for video, you might notice a little bit of distortion in the back of me with the straight lines. It's not a big deal, but you may notice it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I think it's more than enough. For photographers out there will be corrections in Lightroom and Photoshop respectively to take care of any sort of distortion that may come into this lens. For the most part, I'm really, really happy with it. When it comes to bokeh as well, I think the bokeh on this is very pleasant, very beautiful. I've had no issues with any sort of issues with Sigma bokeh over the last few lenses. I think they're great. And I think for the target audience, it's going to be what people expect it to be. Very good optics, sharp, very minimal chromatic aberration, good bokeh, good separation, nice fall off. What more could you ask out of a lens like this? And I think they've accomplished that. Now, in terms of autofocusing speeds, this is why I'm calling it a first impressions, because I'm not going to give a final thought on this because there could be a firmware update by the time it goes to public, and I think it's June 20th thereabouts when it finally goes on sale, is that I found the 2470 to be faster in terms of autofocus slightly. And what I mean by that, so I'm in focus. I've been shooting on this lens the entire time and I'm not out of focus, right? But if I go closer and I come out, it takes a little bit of time to kind of rack focus again. Where if I'm on the 24-70, it's almost like you don't even notice it. It's very, very fast. So the focusing motors could be slightly different on it. Obviously, you're pushing more glass. It's a larger lens, 1.8 versus f2.8. So these variables do come into consideration when you talk about autofocusing speed, but it's nothing that I would say as of right now that I would be concerned about if I'm a videographer out there, or if I'm shooting a wedding or event and I need to use this for paid work. You're still going to get the shot that you want. It just may look a little bit more, just a hair like, just that moment of, okay, it's just racking focus. It could look more cinematic, who knows? So let's talk about manual focusing on this, right? Now, Sigma's done a very good job over the last number of lenses in terms of reducing focus breathing, and you're going to see that in this 28-45. It's almost minimal to zero focus breathing at manual focus. It racks focus beautifully. So if you're going to want to do manual focus with this, which I'm sure people will do, you're going to like how this performs. And it's not in camera correction, mind you. They're doing it with the lens itself. Outside of that, though, I think the lens it's pretty cool. It's awesome. And I would love to use this lens more often for my videos. I mean, I do record with Nikon primarily. There is no, obviously Z mount. I can adapt it, make adapter, but adapters aren't always 100% with these things. So we got to take that in mind. I like that Sigma's pushing the boundaries with full frame zoom lenses, especially with faster apertures. If you want that nice depth of field, that nice sort of separation from your subject to the background, 1.8 does look better than 2.8. But I don't know if this lens is just too big for the market that they're going after, videographers. I don't know. And so I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Would you pick up this lens? Obviously, if you're shooting on a tripod like what I'm shooting right now, it's not a problem. But if you're out and about, you're running and gunning with this, and you're going to be holding your camera for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in a day, how would you feel having this around your neck with your camera body? 950, 960 grams, 151.4 millimeters. It's a long lens. It's a heavy lens. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, more content on the way. Thanks again for the support. Greatly appreciate it. And I'll chat to you soon.